Let's get to you out of the gates right now. I want your take on this news that we're reporting right now, confirming that Jared Kushner will become a senior advisor to the president, basically serving side by side with Steve Bannon, who's one of the chief strategists, and Reince Priebus, the chief of staff. What do you make of this news?
Well, I think the best way to understand the role that Jared Kushner will play in President Trump's White House is to look at the corollary in the Obama administration, and if it's the same, if it's the same in the Obama administration as it is in the Trump administration, then Jared Kushner can look to Valerie Jarrett, who is the senior advisor to the president. She has been with President Obama from the very beginning of the first term. In fact, she is also the best friend of both the president and the first lady, being the person who has known the two of them since before Barack Obama even got into politics. So now you fast forward and look at the role that Jared Kushner could play in the Trump administration. You have a person who will become the president's son-in-law, someone who is intimately involved with and knows the president and knows the way he thinks, and can also be the president's truth teller and tell the president the things that not only he doesn't want to hear, but the things that he needs to hear. It is a very important role, that senior advisor role, that goes beyond whatever is written on the piece of paper that is the job description.
Kevin, I want to get to you. I know you spent months traveling with Donald Trump over the course of the entire campaign. Frequently, I've been with you at times. You're often in that pool. You're behind the scenes. You've seen Steve Bannon just off stage at campaign rallies, Jared Kushner with him as well. What's unique that Americans now becoming more familiar with Jared Kushner should know before this young man turning 36 tomorrow really gets put into a very powerful role side by side with the president?
Let me be blunt. What we're looking at is the future of Republican politics. This is someone who is going to shape the future of the Republican Party. And in working with folks like Steve Bannon, whether it's on infrastructure spending or economic policy, and really bridging the gap between the far-right Tea Party as well as the more moderate wing of the Republican Party, this is someone who is in his 30s and clearly is someone that the president-elect trusts. And of course, they're going to have to answer some questions. A lot of those questions I would predict are going to be asked on Wednesday at that press conference, when Trump is going to discuss how specifically he will divide the Trump organization and, of course, the incoming administration. But the bottom line, this is someone that the president-elect trusts, and this is someone who is going to have significant influence not only in the policy but also in staffing of this Trump White House.
Jonathan, let's talk about the confirmation hearings. As we noted, as many as 9 of them taking place this week. Jeff Sessions, among the more controversial, I guess we could say, will likely to be a contentious hearing, will take place tomorrow. What specifically will you be watching for, and who do you think among these Republicans, not just is most vulnerable, but whose hearings do you think may sort of give us a best indication of what the agenda might look like going forward?
Well, look, we will get a very clear idea of what the agenda will look like when you have this many hearings all at once, packed into 1 week and into one specific day. I believe it's Wednesday is the big day with 4 or 5 hearings. With the questions that come out throughout those hearings, we will have a pretty good idea of a direction that the Trump administration wants to go in. What we will also see is the tack the Democrats will take in terms of opposition. Look, one thing that the audience needs to keep in mind is that no matter who the president is, there is great deference given to the president's choices and the president's ability to pick his cabinet. And so that's going to be part of the dynamic, part of the things that people need to understand. There are going to be fiery questions. There are going to be tough questions, certainly coming from the Democrats. But don't be surprised if some, if not all, of these people who President-elect Trump has nominated actually gets through. Now, one of the 2 sessions I'm going to be watching, and no pun intended, but the Attorney General nominee, Senator Jeff Sessions, to see just how hard and how strong the Democrats are going to be against this nomination, considering the sort of messy racial history that is in his background. And then the other hearing that I'm going to pay attention to is that of Dr. Ben Carson. Dr. Ben Carson has been nominated as the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. Not exactly a place where he has any experience or any knowledge that any of us know. And so part of part of the thing that you look for in these hearings is to get an idea of the expertise and the knowledge of the person nominated for the position. Well, that bar for Dr. Carson is extremely high.
Is one of Dr.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.